On this episode, we talk more about Genie Plus, Towneplace Suites, and have some Typhoon Lagoon updates. Today is March 11th, 2022. This is episode 442 of the Main Street Magic Podcast.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts. Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Main Street Magic. I am your host, Jeremy Stein, and I'm joined by my lovely wife, Rhonda.
Hey, guys.
Make sure you check us out on the web at mainstmagic.com, as well as follow on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at mainstmagic. If you've not done so already, head out to Facebook and search for the Main Street Magic community and ask to join. And then if you want brand new episodes every Tuesday and Friday, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We want to give a huge shout out and thank you to two of our premier sponsors for the Main Street 16 Challenge coming up in April. That is Mouse Dining, who helps you find those hard to get dining reservations at Walt Disney World and Disneyland, as well as Vacation Grocery Delivery, our go-to for grocery delivery on property and beyond. And we are just so thankful to have them on as the premier sponsors for this event. If you want to learn more about the event and sign up or donate, go to mainstreet16.com or just listen to the last episode on our feed, which is a bonus episode where my new friend Gary and I talk all about it. And lastly, I know we talk a lot about Wonderland Crew, and if some of you are still like, I don't really know what that gets me, I don't know what live streams and stuff I get, we're going to do a free preview of everything that we would normally put into Wonderland Crew. We're going to do it in the Main Street Magic community on Facebook this entire weekend. We're headed down to Wyndham Lake Buena Vista. We're hoping to eat at Polite Pig. We're hoping the weather allows us to do some other things as it's looking to be very, very rainy. But you can kind of get a taste of what we do in case you just are not sure or we're on the fence and maybe, decide to join after that. So this is going to be kind of like a little trip review. Last episode we talked all specifically about Flower and Garden, and there just really wasn't enough time to discuss a few more things. Let's start before we get into Genie Plus, because we did use it again at Epcot. How did that morning turn out driving to Disney World?
Well, Jeremy is on all of his social channels as always and found something posted from one of the Fort Wilderness groups that said there was like a 14-mile shutdown on 95 or something crazy like that. So the way our route always takes us is 95 to 4. So with all that being said, we, Jeremy, not we, Jeremy did some research on how to go another way. We pulled up ways and we took a whole bunch of different roads. I could say them, but you're not going to probably understand. Yeah. But we took a whole bunch of different roads where we didn't slow down at all. We got there in probably 2 hours and 10 minutes, 15.
Yeah, I think it probably added 15, 20 minutes to our trip. 20. So not too bad.
But because it was new territory, new scenery, I felt like it took 5 hours to get there.
Oh, it did. Yeah, because we just weren't familiar. Because normally we have those landmarks in our mind, like when we see the I-4 eyesore, we know how far away we are, but we didn't know.
We had no idea.
We knew how far away we were.
Well, we did because Waze kept telling us, but holy moly, it was just crazy.
Yeah.
But we actually shockingly did great timing. We got there. We went to check into Towneplace Suites. She said our king room is not ready. They don't have any available ready. So here, can I have your number and we'll call her? I don't know what she said, call or text. And I was like, sure. So we went back to the car and got our stuff and ordered an Uber to go over to Flower and Garden.
Yeah. And we spent the whole day we'll talk about Towneplace Suites right now because we do love this place. And of course we love the Flamingo Crossing area. We stay there very often now. And
it's been a long time since we've stayed at Towneplace Suites.
It has been a while.
That was nice to get back to.
Yeah. Cause I absolutely love it there. But I know in the past we talked about the Hopper app, and I'm not going to recommend potentially the price freeze option, but I still think Hopper is really, really good if you can pay right then and there.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's what we did with this one. We had a credit of, I think, $38 from a price freeze we had to change. I think we spent another $63
Yes,
on
it
the
was
room
very
after that.
inexpensive.
So it was like $100
Yep.
for the king room for the night. When we did get back that evening late,
It was about 10, 15.
yeah,
Between 10:15 and 10:30. 10 and 10:30. Yeah, we
never got a text, never got a call all
Nope.
day long.
we told the lady this, and she was like, "I'm so sorry." And she's like, "You're sweet," and blah blah blah. And she never says anything. Just gives us her room number. I'm expecting a king bed.
Right.
We walk in, and we're very disappointed to see it was 2 queen beds.
And honest, it didn't matter. We put our heads down, by 11 p.m. We were
Yeah.
up by 8 p.m. and we were leaving, pretty much because we were going to go over to Disney Springs,
Right.
and then we are going to hit Typhoon Lagoon and all
Well,
that.
we ate breakfast because
Yeah.
it's free.
But it was kind of the point of it, and what I literally think happened, and mistakes happen. That's fine.
Yeah.
But what I literally think happened is that we got there, and then she looked in and she was like, "Oh no, we never did assign these people a room,
Right. And there is no king
and there's no
rooms left.
king rooms left, so we just have to put them in something." So again, in the end, didn't
Which
matter. But
I think it worked out really well because in Wonderland Crew, we lived the room the next day and really got to be able to show off if you have 2, 4, even 6 people in your party, you have plenty of room in that
Yeah.
room.
these rooms are extremely spacious.
Mhm.
You have a table for 4. You have a kitchen,
Mhm.
which includes a 2-burner stovetop, pots, pans, actual like ceramic plates and bowls, coffee mugs, a full-size coffee maker.
If you have young kids, there's a little hideout. You can go in between the kitchen and the
in the bathroom through the closet.
Yep.
It's got a pull-out queen couch bed
Yep.
along with the 2 queen beds. We have actually pulled those out before because we've had 5 people in the room, and it works out really, really well.
Mhm.
Cannot recommend Towneplace Suites. I think it ties with Home too. I actually like the room and the breakfast better at Home too.
Yeah.
But I love the fact, and their amenities, their pool and stuff is
Yep.
a little better. But I love the bar and grill, Flamingo's Bar and Grill
Yeah.
at Towneplace, and
And
it's
I
just a
really-
little bit closer.
I really like the ability to actually cook too, because we've done that a couple of times,
Yeah.
which is fun.
And what we've said is, we think of folks that are coming for a week or you're coming for 2 weeks. This is a really good extended stay place because of that kitchen,
Yep.
because of the size, the fact that there's a Target right across the street. There's restaurants that are opening across the street.
Yep.
It's very, very accessible to Disney. You're a few minutes from the back entrance off Western Way, which comes up right next to Coronado Springs.
Mhm.
This is a good one too. I think, you have a lot of people that come over from the United Kingdom that stay 2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 weeks at Disney, that's a lot.
Yep.
But this might be where you split stay and you do a week at Disney and then you do a week here. And if you can find some really good deals, I don't think we've ever paid more than $200 for any room at any of the four Flamingo Crossing hotels that we've stayed at out of the 6.
Oh yeah.
I don't believe we've ever paid over.
I can agree with
200.
that.
And you can usually find, another thing we really like about these is that a lot of times we'll book them through hotels.com
Mm-hmm.
and there is no money down up front. It's a credit card guarantee.
Which is good and bad.
Yeah, because then you got to owe everything when you get there.
Yeah.
But for us, we'll set aside or save
Yeah.
often so that
But
we
I
can just pay it
also
when we
I
get
do
there.
enjoy that first where if it's $200, you're like, oh man, I got to pay this $200, and then when you get there, you're $200 less. So
An important note about that one though. And I don't know if it's all of them, but we certainly have run into it. I think it was at the Home too. When you go through that third party, like a hotels.com, you cannot pay cash towards the balance of your room.
correct.
It has to be a credit or a debit card. In fact, it couldn't even be a gift card. I think we had a gift card.
Correct.
So they won't take a gift card or cash, like a Visa gift card. So just something to note. So you're not like, maybe tucking away some cash or something. And then you get there and you're like, what do I do with this now?
Right.
You'd have to like literally go to your bank and deposit it or something if there was one around and then come back and pay if you didn't have the money. So
Yeah.
just something to note. So we're going to talk Genie Plus because we had not used it since October, the second day that it
Yep.
was out.
Yep.
And you can certainly go back and listen to that episode. Most everything in that episode rings true. I still don't believe it's necessary at Epcot, and you're going to figure that out as we go through our day there.
But Jeremy wanted to ride some rides, so he said, I'm doing it.
And we wanted to try it again.
Yeah, and we needed to do it for y'all.
Frozen is included right now.
Yes.
In the Genie Plus. We were opting not to do the individual Lightning Lane because, to be honest, we would have to pay like the $22 for that. And then technically waste another $10 on your motion sickness patch.
Yes.
Because you would literally only wear it for that ride.
Correct.
So we were like, we're not going to worry about that. So I woke up that morning, I had my alarm set, ready to go, and at 6:45 a.m., I bought Genie Plus.
Yeah.
It's a very, very simple process. It's going to have your credit cards already set up and linked to your account. Very easy to get, $15 a person. So we were starting to pack up, and because of the uncertainty of now knowing how we were going to get there and how long it was going to take because of this issue on
Correct.
95,
Yep.
The plan when we do this is, whether it's a day trip or it's an overnight trip and the girls aren't coming with us, is we drop them off at school at 8 and then we get in the car and we go. We're usually down there by 10.
Yeah.
And somebody comes, like when we stayed overnight here, somebody comes and watches. I don't even need to say watches the girls. Somebody comes and stays at our home. An adult friend comes and stays at our home with the girls. You're not really watching almost 12 and 14-year-old because they're very self-sufficient.
Correct.
But yeah, need somebody here. So all of a sudden I'm like, all right, let's get them. We're dropping them off early because we want to save any time. I don't know how long this is going to take.
And
right?
they just sit outside of school anyway,
Right,
so it's fine.
So I'm rushing around. Next thing I know, I look down and I'm like, 7:01. Great. I needed to book at 7 and I was going to go for Frozen Ever After first.
Which you would think 7:01, that's not bad.
In Disney Virtual World, Rhonda, that's
horrible.
Awful, right? So let's go back to the Rise of the Resistance days. 7 o'clock in 3 seconds sometimes wasn't enough, if we remember. Right. So I go to book at 7:01 and the very first available Frozen is 6:40 p.m.
But we knew we were staying all day and into the night because we wanted to watch Harmonious again. So I said, please get it.
Yeah,
get it.
For sure. But this is where, and everybody tours differently. Everybody does the day differently.
I know.
We weren't going to be there in time for a rope drop. If we were on property already or had early entry, we could have just said, you know what, forget it. We're going to head over now and rope drop it.
Yep.
This is where I think it becomes difficult. Let's just say you bought Genie Plus and your main goal for your two sweet little kids was to ride Frozen Ever After. But you also know that, maybe they're younger, that by 5 p.m., they might be worn out.
Correct.
Then it feels like you've wasted $60 at that point for a family of 4.
Absolutely.
For us, it was going to work out perfectly. We weren't planning to do rides till later in the afternoon, evening anyway. But again, just want to let you know. Now, because at this time, Epcot is opening at 8:30. It's not that you can book. The 2-hour window doesn't mean that you can book your next Genie Plus 2 hours after your first one. You then book your second one if you want to stack 2 hours after park opening.
Whew,
which means the park is opening at 8:30 at this point, which means we could book it at 10:30.
Okay.
Apparently me and watches don't get along because I completely forgot. And I finally at 11 was like, oh, I can book. So I booked Soarin' for 5:05 p.m. at 11 o'clock. So we now have Soarin' at 5:05.
Yeah.
And we have Frozen at 6:40.
Yep.
At 1 p.m., I am now allowed to stack another Genie Plus because it's 2 hours after the last one that I booked. And I was able to grab...
I'm glad you understand all this.
I was able to grab Nemo for 1:05 p.m. We really wanted to ride it after we were doing our finale episode. Yep. So we wanted to be on that. All right. So we now have, and at this point it is 1 o'clock. So we now have Nemo at 1:05. We've got Soarin' at 5:05 and we've got Frozen Ever After at 6:40. We walked over to Nemo because we were in the World Showcase and the wait was 20 minutes posted. We arrived at 1:27 and with 3 minutes we were walking on the ride.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
super
all right,
cool.
we saved some time.
Yeah.
All right. At 2:15, I went to book a Lightning Lane for Spaceship Earth and it was basically available immediately. So the wait at this point is short enough that you could just book it and then immediately go on it if you wanted on Genie Plus, or you could just go to the standby.
Right.
We did not make our way over there. I was more of a testing because we wanted to go take a break at Bar Riva.
Yeah.
So we headed to Bar Riva We took the Skyliner. What's
did.
up with the Skyliner, and talk about the current, of course, mask situation that still is occurring in some forms at Disney.
Disney did drop off the mask mandates on any rides, on any stores, but you do have to wear them on Disney transportation, and that usually goes for buses, monorail, and Skyliner. Boats are one of those things where if you're inside, I think you're supposed to. I don't know how that's going. We haven't ridden one. But if you're on the outside in the open air, you do not. That's how it was, period.
Yeah.
Before. Excuse me. So we were getting on the Skyliner and we actually had our mask, but it was neat to see a cast member opening disposable masks if needed. In fact, he had to say something to somebody, and I think he was going to hand them one.
Yes. Their whole family, I think.
Yeah.
Needed them.
I mean, it's one of those things where if you are coming and depending on how you get there, you might forget, or you might go, oh, I don't need it now that I'm here. And then you're like, oh, wait, I'm going on this transportation. So yeah. So it was nice to see that.
If you have a park bag or purse, I would just go ahead and throw a couple in there so you have them on you for now until, things get lifted as far as that goes.
And we also took an Uber over, as I said earlier. And in the app, Jeremy did say that, yes, it is asking to keep your mask on. So we were ready, had our mask and everything. And our guy pulled up and I noticed he didn't have one on. And when he got in, he was like, those aren't allowed in here, kind of joking. And I was like, what? And then I was like, oh, and so I guess now it is your, personal preference. So we were like, cool. But if we were like, no, we're good, we're going to keep him on, he would have probably have been fine. Yeah.
So it looks like, again, it is going to be dependent on the Uber or Lyft driver, but I would still have one on hand.
Absolutely.
In case, because someone might say,
nope. And
you need to put one on if you didn't have one. No, I'm saying a driver.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, or leave.
Oh, yeah. No, that's true. So by this time we made our way. Oh, and also on the Skyliner, it is still very dependent on how busy it is, whether you are going to be put in a cabin with other
Oh, yeah, because we were not.
It was not busy, so they're just letting each individual party get on. If it was extremely busy, we would have been paired up with other guests, possibly up to 10 people.
Oh, my goodness. Really? You think so?
I mean, maybe.
I guess if it's at night and they're trying to get everybody home. Okay. Yeah. All right. Go ahead.
All right. So this time we get over to Bar Riva and I cancel Spaceship Earth and I rebook it for 2:30.
Okay.
We're hanging out. 2:30's rolling around. 3's rolling around. I'm like, we're not making it. So I cancel it for 3:08. I then rebook it for 3:10.
Oh, my goodness.
Really? I do wish that this part could be more like Fast Pass where you get to select it, because I would have said, you know what, I'm going to select it for 6 p.m. And we'll ride it on the way from Soarin' over to Frozen. I do wish you could pick your window the way you can with individual lightning lane.
Maybe
based on availability.
Maybe somebody's listening.
So I canceled it at 3:38 and I rebooked it for 3:40.
Oh my goodness.
Then I canceled it pretty much immediately, and I was able to rebook Living with the Land for 5:05.
Yes.
Now, this works out well. If you remember, we now have a 5:05 for Soarin'. So we arrive at Living with the Land at 5:20. There was a 10-minute posted standby, but it looked really busy. A lot of the queue was full.
Yeah, kind of.
We had a 4-minute wait.
Yep. It was super nice.
Even though it looked busier, they did not pair us up with anyone else.
Which was nice.
On the boat.
Yeah.
In that row.
Correct.
Which I do think was nice. At 5:37, I booked Figment for 5:40. I still have my Soarin'. I still have my Frozen. We just did Living with the Land. So we arrive at Soarin' at 5:42 and a 30-minute posted standby. Now, I don't know what's going on here, but we did wait 16 minutes for that. But again, still cut that standby time in half.
But we didn't ride Figment.
No, we did not end up doing that. So we ended up arriving at Frozen at 7:39.
Okay.
The standby was at 75 minutes. We walked on in 3 minutes. They did not pair us up. And when we got towards the end of it, I think we skipped in front of about 10 people because they were like any groups of 2.
Yeah.
And so we went ahead and we got on.
Yes.
So overall, throughout the day, and people keep saying, is it worth it? Yes, it can be.
Okay.
I thought it was worth our $30
that day.
Good. Knowing that the trip before, we didn't do a single ride.
Correct.
And I wanted to ride rides.
Yeah.
Along with enjoying Flower and Garden. And
Yeah.
so for me, it was back to feeling, and it did work.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, it didn't necessarily work for the morning,
Right.
but it really would have worked really well for the early afternoon if I had not kept canceling them just because we were like, we don't want to ride it now.
Right.
Now, what this could have looked like at Hollywood Studios or Magic Kingdom, completely different day, I guarantee, because I do think that it is much more needed there at those two.
Yes.
I think Animal Kingdom,
Yes.
I think, Epcot can be very different.
Yeah.
I still think you're going to do a combination of three things, and I know it's a headache, but this is Disney as we know it now, and I know you don't want to stare at your phone all day, and I know you don't want to spend extra money, but that's Disney as it is right now. So what you can do is either adapt, or you can not go, or you can just choose not to spend the money and then be okay with however your day plays out. But I think you're going to have a combination of still rope drop, extra park hours if you are staying at a deluxe resort for one of those parks on the days that you're there.
Yep.
Using something like touringplans.com.
Yeah.
And utilizing Genie Plus or individual Lightning Lane.
Yeah.
Like for me, still, if I'm going to Hollywood Studios and our family wants to ride Rise, I'm gonna buy the individual Lightning Lane. I'm not gonna chance it to rope dropping. I'm not gonna chance it to standby.
Right.
I think that it can be worth the extra money. So that was our experience throughout the day. And again, I hate to say that I thought that day it was worth it for us.
Yeah. Well, why do you hate to say that?
Well, because nobody wants to spend extra money, and we don't want to spend extra money. But at the same time, as I've said before, we often get a double Tito's with water and a splash of lemon or a splash of crayon. After tip, those usually run us like $36. That was an entire day of Genie
so
Plus
then we
for
just
us.
don't
And
do
then
that,
some.
and then we
Right.
ride. Yep.
And
do Genie.
instead you get to ride these rides.
Yep.
So putting that out there, everybody needs to make their own decision. Go back and listen to our Genie Plus episode. Go listen to other podcasts that talk about Genie Plus and individual Lightning Lane and what their experience was. Go read blogs that Touring Plans, has written in places like that. And again, make your own assumption on, is it worth you? We come back to value versus what you get. And that can often be different between everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
All right, we're going to give some update on a couple food items at Typhoon Lagoon, and we're going to talk umbrella rental again.
Yes.
You want to talk umbrella rental first?
Yeah, so that morning we, woke up and got our stuff because we were leaving from Typhoon Lagoon to go home. And we were meeting Rachel over there, Rachel Williams. And so she beat us over there, and because we were like, well, whoever gets there first, because you want to rope drop the water parks.
Yeah, you really do.
Yeah. So she beat us, and she was able to get the rental. Somebody got 10. And when she was next, she thought she was getting 11, but somebody I think already had 11. So we got number 12.
Yeah.
And we were super excited. And she actually thought it would be possibly a little bit more money because it was starting to get, but nope, it was still $42 and
60
some change.
cents, I think
60,
it is.
yep,
yeah.
something.
And again, this can go up into $70, and it's
Yep.
probably going to. I'd actually be interested to see what it is this weekend,
Yeah.
just say, because of the fact
Spring
that
break
spring break is
starting.
starting. But yeah, Rhonda talks about rope dropping the water parks, and we knew this back from when we used to go, because a lot of times we would just spend a morning there and then, go about with the rest of our day.
Right.
They're going to start letting you in through the turnstiles at around 9:30, and there's going to be holding areas before you get into the actual park at 10 a.m.
Right.
So the umbrella rental, though, is open prior to 10. So if you got there at 9:30, you could go straight to the umbrella rental.
Yay.
Now, I'm still going to recommend, or we're going to recommend, that you call ahead and reserve one.
Yes.
We were okay leaving it
was
to chance.
Yeah, because it was a Friday.
Yeah.
And I think we just thought that it would probably be fine.
To be
And
honest, you're
it
probably
was.
going to end up spending 2 hours on the phone potentially. So find a day that you're working or you're just, cooking dinner and just be on hold, and then go ahead. And I would rent one ahead of time. But there's two reasons for rope dropping. And one is the fact that you could get into the umbrellas, you can get into the store early, stuff like that.
Mhm.
The second is,
I think there's a couple of things too where you can get, like, is the mini donut still?
yeah, there's some food options that will be available. Coffee, Joffrey's Coffee,
Yep.
things like that
Yep.
are running. 10 a.m. by 11 a.m., we had done 80 to 85% of the attractions.
Yes.
And like with zero wait and complete walk on.
Yes.
And not that the park got that busy, but
Yeah.
you were just done. And then you get this sense of, let's go do stuff we want to do again. Like we went back and did Crush and
Right.
Gusher several times.
Yeah.
You know, and the different ones there.
Yep.
But you can basically be like, all right, my day is technically done. We can reride some stuff if we want. But we, you know, if all of a sudden we get over there and it says it's 30, 40 minutes, we don't have to.
Yeah.
We can enjoy the wave pool, which will still knock you on your butt.
Oh yeah,
It's
I
so
still
much
have
fun.
a scrape on my knee from
yeah,
getting.
you got taken down.
Yep.
Enjoy food, all of that stuff. When Rhonda's talking about the umbrella rental numbers, you know, we mentioned this last time. Number 10 is almost like its own little private area in Oasis.
Yes.
You can request an umbrella number. They just can't guarantee it. That's
Correct.
both on if you get a call ahead reservation and when you show up.
Yes.
Because Rachel said, I would like umbrella 10. They said, I'm sorry, it's already done. And the person in front of her ended up getting number 11. So we got number 12.
Okay.
10, 11, 12, 13 are, in my opinion, the 4 best.
Yeah.
14, 15, 16, I think are the next best 3. And then 18 and up is going to be pretty decent. When
How
I
many
look
are
back
there?
at it,
Do you know?
I think it goes up into the 20s
Okay.
or so. I don't know off the top of my head, to be honest. 17 that we had the week before. Now when we've stayed at this one, which is literally right on the water, right on the ropes, and nobody or anything's in front of you.
It was amazing.
When we had 17 that we talked about, you know, in last week's episode, we were literally right in front of one of the beachcomber shacks.
Yeah.
It felt like we were part of their party.
Yeah. It
And
was.
we were blocked by foliage and such.
Yeah.
And seeing the wave pool.
Yep.
So again, if you're going, I highly recommend the umbrellas. We're going April 9th with our friends Lucy and Caleb. I'll call ahead and rent one.
Yeah.
You know, when I'm just sitting here working one day, I'll just put it on hold. And if it takes an hour, cool. If it takes 4 hours, whatever, I got nothing better to do.
I think you do have other better things to do.
Let's give one more update on some food.
Yay!
And let's talk. We really enjoyed the food we ate the week before.
We did.
We ended up back at Typhoon Tilly's.
Yep.
And what did we get and what did we think?
So, let's see. I think we ended back up here because Jeremy was looking at the
fish basket.
fish. Yeah. The land and they have a land and sea, which is chicken and fish, or they do just have a hand battered fish basket. So I think Rachel wanted that too.
Yep.
So they both got that. And then I was like, well, I was going to go to a different place to get food. But then I was like, well, let's see.
You're like, why bother? Let's just make this easy.
And so on the menu, they have crabless crab cakes for $12.49. It is plant-based crab cakes topped with mango chutney, served with French fries and cilantro lime slaw. And so it was so funny because Jeremy was just kind of rolled his eyes and was like, but I was like, you know, this is plant-based. I feel like this is going to be a healthier option for me. So I'm going to start with the cilantro lime slaw. I was super excited because I love cilantro and I love slaw. I was very disappointed in it.
Yeah, you didn't eat much of it at all.
I took a bite and it was not very good.
Okay.
I don't know why. It just wasn't, but that's fine. And then, you know, I was like, I'm going to eat some French fries today. I was on the healthier side, but I hadn't had French fries in a very long time. So I was like, I'm going to eat some. And they were very good. Very good. They're your just steak fry French fries. The plant-based crab cakes, they were actually shockingly very good. I found them very good. The mango chutney served with it was so good, and I really enjoyed that dish.
If you are from Maryland or Delaware right now, or if you are maybe a representative of Old Bay, go ahead and skip forward about 30 seconds to a minute.
Why?
These were really good. I don't know. I can't call them. I'm not going to say it's a good crab cake. It was a good dish, and it surprisingly had a crabby seafood-like flavor.
Yes.
I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And Yeah, I don't even know what to say because I'm so critical of crab cakes.
Yeah, you are.
But I feel okay saying this was a good dish. I'm not going to say it's good crab cakes, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It was a good plant-based, seafood-flavored dish,
Yes,
and
it
I
was.
was shocked by it.
Yeah.
I actually would like to see them put this in a larger patty and serve it as a sandwich.
Yeah.
You know, with like lettuce and maybe a remoulade or a cocktail sauce, something like that. So, yeah, I was like, I mean, I am. I'm rolling my eyes, and you're like, "You gonna try it?" And I almost just want to. I almost just want to pick up the tray and chuck it into the wave pool. And then I tried it, and I was like, "What is happening?"
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yep.
So please, no one disown me. All right. This is a good plant-based, seafood-flavored dish. This is not a good crab cake. Okay. I'm putting that out there.
How was your hand battered fish basket for $10.99? Which is literally just hand battered fish and French fries.
It's fish and chips.
Yep.
I don't think they want to call it fish and chips because this is not themed to the United Kingdom, you know, or anything. And so obviously they just want hand battered, you know, fish and fries. This was outstanding. 4 good chunks of fish. A nice big boat full of fries. Blind taste test. I would have thought this came from Yorkshire Fish Company.
Oh.
The only fault is that they do not have malt vinegar packets.
Of malt vinegar.
And again, Gary taught me that sets off fish and chips. But the fish is so flaky.
It was really
and
good.
Tender and dare I say moist that it doesn't need the malt vinegar. I just do love that flavor pop that it gives it.
Yeah.
The French fries, I just went ahead and got ketchup and just, you know, I wish that they had ketchup stations that I could then dip fries in, because then I had to be like a psychopath and squirt ketchup on top of my fries as opposed to creating a dip compartment, because I think you dip fries. I just think it's odd when you squirt ketchup on top of them, because then the ketchup usually is like getting on your hands because it's all over the fry as opposed to a dip mentality.
Okay.
If that makes sense. So I wish they had that, and I wish they had malt vinegar.
Okay.
But I've been so impressed, you know, so far with the food here.
Yep.
And I always remember us enjoying it in the past, and we're certainly going to try more and more of it. I promise to not eat at Typhoon Tilly's when we go April 9th, okay? We will check out other locations and options.
We also got dessert, and I'm going to let Jeremy talk about his dessert because I already talked about mine. I got the same thing again, which was the amazing 50th dream cone. That is a birthday cake, and it was so good. Oh my gosh, it was so good. So yeah, Jeremy, what did you get?
So I went ahead and got, for the first time, because it's been around a while at different areas, the Hey Hey cone. This is a blue cone, and it's filled with a layer of pineapple Dole Whip, raspberry soft serve, sugar piece eyes, and a sour candy comb, air quotes, on top of its head. It's really good. It's weird looking, especially when it starts to melt a little. And I think if perfection is not placed on like the placement of the eye, mine was wonky looking. I appreciate the sour candy comb. It's like,
was it good?
It's a little sour. And I'm not big on sour candies. This was not overly sour.
Oh, good.
I actually do enjoy the crunch of the sugar eyes with the softness of the Dole Whip. Good. Like, I actually wish that there was more. I love, and you didn't get as many this time, but when they had the sprinkles, those hard candy sprinkles on the Dream Cone the other week, I like that balance of the two. It's extremely refreshing.
Good.
It belongs at Typhoon Lagoon. They have several Dole Whip flavors that you can try, whether in cone or in bowl, and it is a refreshing, perfect treat. I prefer the 50 at the iridescent cone over this one, but I would easily get this again.
Yeah. Okay.
And then next time we'll have to get the, what is it, Montanui?
Yes.
We'll have to get that one.
Yes, and that is, I think, a lime.
Yes, that one is lime flavored, but it's got some sprinkles and some colored cone and stuff like that.
Yep.
Last thing we want to touch on is literally the week before, the brand new Express lane opened, which utilizes SunPass and some of those things.
And we were planning to use it on the way down.
Right.
But we missed out because of that big old accident. But we were driving home and it was like, oh my gosh, we can use it.
Yeah, so it basically bypasses. It's all these different exits and a lot of the traffic you're going to experience coming through downtown area, things like that. all the way through, it cost us $3. We have a Sun Pass.
Mhm.
If you drive to Orlando into Disney and Universal, SeaWorld, whatever, and you don't have a Sun Pass, get one.
Yes,
Just
absolutely.
especially because we needed it on the way down.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that we were rerouted to some toll roads. It's
Correct.
so easy to use. I have it set where I think every time my account goes to zero, it just reloads $20. That'll
Okay.
last a long time. $3 to get through all of this. There was some traffic. It would not shock me if it saved us 10 to 15 minutes, if not a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that's not a lot of time, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not bad.
It's nice when you don't have to slow down, because I think when you kind of slow down in Orlando and stop, it's very frustrating. But this is just a nice flow.
Stressful.
When you slow down, it's stressful.
Yeah, because people drive awfully.
Yeah. So this is really good. But the main thing you need to be careful on if you're here is that I think because it is so smooth and so you can just kind of put the pedal to the metal.
Yeah.
But don't do that.
Nope.
Put your cruise on, because we saw along that stretch 3-4 cops.
At least.
Yeah.
They
And
were out.
They were
and
pulling
about
people
and
over.
ready. And my guess is that's going to be an easy speed trap.
Oh, absolutely.
And I know it's only been open for not even a week. So I'm sure they were out a little bit more. But that's going to be a real easy speed trap because
Yep.
it's a straightaway and you're almost not paying attention. And there were not a lot of cars on it when we
Right.
did it. But I do think that
Are we using it tomorrow?
oh my goodness, we go to Disney tomorrow.
We go to Disney tomorrow, guys.
We do go to Disney tomorrow.
Woohoo!
It's super exciting.
Super cool because like we really plan to stay at like Disney Springs and do all that. So I'm super excited. I want to do Gideon's when the Saturday morning. Well,
Yeah,
I might have
see
to
if we can do that.
I might have
and
to
just,
stand in the rain, but I'm going to do it.
and just do it.
Just do it. Because apparently we are only 5 minutes, if that, walking.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So I'm super excited about that.
Yep.
Super excited to eat at Plate Pig.
Yes, it's been a long time.
We are going to try apparently to go over and see the
tomorrow.
parade?
Well, today I'll say because now it'll be Friday. We're recording on Thursday evening. We're going to try to make it over to Magic Kingdom to see the 2:30 Festival of Fantasy parade.
Okay.
This will be very weather dependent because of the fact that we really don't want to make our way all the way over there and it be canceled.
Yeah.
And then they put it in B mode and they do the rainy day parade, I assume. But then again, maybe we see the first rainy. Well, I wonder if they put it all. I wonder if it happened today. I'll have to actually look because this weather has been.
It's been,
stinky.
yeah, it
The
has.
sun is now trying to come out at
Yeah.
5:02 p.m. Thanks a lot, weather. So
Yeah.
anyway, I think that's all for this one. Coming up very soon, we are going to have a full review of Wyndham Lake Buena Vista, which we
Yep.
are so excited to check out. I will be
Yes.
eating buffalo wings.
Okay.
Best south of Buffalo. They have been voted by many.
Oh, seriously?
Yes. And
Okay.
so I will help determine if that
Okay.
is legitimate. But no, we're
Okay.
excited to check that out. Girls started spring break literally
Woo! Right now. Right now.
We got them out of school and stuff. And so it's going to be a little staycation. And then on next week, Rhonda and I do our special secret trip. For anybody who is guessing, it is not Disney related. All of a sudden, I looked at Rhonda the other morning and I was like, I hope people don't think we're waking up and going to Disneyland and we'll be super disappointed.
Yeah.
I'm super disappointed we're not going to
I
Disneyland. Not
agree.
next week, just in general. 'Cause
Yeah,
I'm so
yeah.
excited for next week.
Yeah.
But anyway, so you're going to be able to find all about that in Wonderland Crew. And if you're wondering what Wonderland Crew really is all about, make sure you tune in to the Main Street Magic community, have notifications, whatever you need turned on. We'll be doing all the live streams in there. It's like a little preview for them.
Yep.
And then if you love coffee, if you love teas, using
I sure
premium
do.
coffee beans roasted by their artisan roast master, Expedition Roasters brings a passion for art and story to bring you an immersive experience like no one else. And what we love so much about their coffees is that the flavors do not taste super artificial like a lot of the ones you get at your local
Oh,
store.
yeah.
They're
Absolutely.
very subtle. Yeah, they
Mhm.
don't taste fake. They don't taste so artificial. They taste very, very natural.
Mhm.
Highly recommend their coffees and teas.
Yes.
They often have some cool merchandise as well. You can find out more about them at msmfriends.com and brew your happy place. That is it for us today. Thank you everyone for listening. Can't wait to bring you some more fun and exciting episodes, especially over the next few months. We have so much going on. If you go out to our website at mainstmagic.com, you can sign up for our email list, and we send out a monthly email that kind of lets you know what's coming up, let you know what maybe you missed episode-wise from the month before. So you can go ahead to our website and subscribe to that email list. And then finally, you're out on the internet. You're subscribing to get new shows every Tuesday and Friday. We would be so thankful if you leave us a rating and review.
Because it'll help our show grow.
That's all we've got. We'll see you real soon.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts, Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.